Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. We are the Seekers of the Arcane for anyone who is new here to our channel. Today we are going to be getting into the subject and history of the Ouija board and why it is dangerous to mess with the Ouija board and to play around with the Ouija board, whether you think it is just a game or not. So before we get into the details of this video, if you guys can do us a favor and subscribe to our channel, it would really help us out to create more content and to continue these kinds of topics and subjects, and also future investigations that we will be going on. It would just help us out greatly. So if you guys could go ahead and click that subscribe button, and don't forget to share this video after it is done if you enjoyed this video and if you enjoy these kinds of conversations. Now, getting into the topic of the Ouija board. Yes, everyone and their mama tells you not to mess with the Ouija board, but do we really truthfully understand the reason why we do not want to touch the Ouija board, mess with the Ouija board, use it as a way to communicate with the other side, the dead, spirits, into the spirit realms? Do you guys really understand the dangers? Well, let's dive in and let's go over together why it could be quite life-threatening, but also the history behind the Ouija board. So to begin with the history of the Ouija board, let's go back. So in around the 1880s, a device that came to be was called the talking board. And this was pre-Ouija board. It was not called the Ouija board. This was known as a talking board. But to begin a little bit before the talking board came to be, the spiritualism movement, meaning the desire of people wanting to communicate with the other side, communicate with spirits, loved ones, the dead, that actually started in around the early 1800s. Then, as some of you may or may not know, there were a pair of sisters called the Fox sisters that came out in 1848. And they were the ones that also kicked up this want and this need for people to communicate, because through them, they were always talking about how they could connect and communicate with spirits with said protocols that they would do, such as using planchets. They would use automatic writing. They would do things such as table tipping and use the pendulums to communicate with the other side. So if we fast forward a little bit, that brings us to around 1880, where the creation of the talking board became to be, which was, if you want to think about it, almost like a prototype of the Ouija board, but it was just called the talking board. And this talking board was created by a man by the name of Charles Kennard, who was a businessman set out to be in Baltimore. So then now in around 1890, Charles Kennard, with a man who was now known to be the patenter of the Ouija board, Elijah Bond, they came together with a group of other people. They mainly wanted to market this creation as something that was mainly for entertainment, or also a way to communicate with spirits.
So once the design of the talking board was created, after that, the name of the Ouija kind of came to be. Elijah Bond's sister-in-law was claimed to be using the planchette, and the planchette spelled out the word Ouija. The Ouija board had told her that it was an Egyptian name or an Egyptian word for good luck. Other accounts have said that the Ouija was a combination of two languages, French and German. The first part being French was oui, meaning yes, and in German, the other part being ja also meant yes. So after they had gained a name for the Ouija board and the design was made, there was a fast traction for the Ouija board in the late 1880s. That has started a mass production of the board. In 1892, the Ouija Novelty Company was created, and in that same year, Elijah had gained a patent for the Ouija board. Then, in 1966, the Parker brothers they were a major toy company, and they had gained the rights to the Ouija board. So now they started producing the Ouija board as a toy and entertainment, rather than like a way to communicate with the dead. Though that's what its purpose was for, it was kind of gained more as like entertainment.
Yeah, it was more marketed for entertainment than it was a tool used to communicate. So now that we got some of that history out of the way, as some of you may or may not know, there is a demon that is said to be attached with the Ouija board called ZoZo. Now, in our personal opinion, I don't really give in too much into the ZoZo Ouija board demon. And there's going to be a couple of reasons why, and we're going to go over it. But one of the main things that we have to kind of take into consideration is this said demon only really came about to be in modern times. It was kind of like newly created. Happened around like the early 2000s, maybe like late 1990s, somewhere around that time, where it started actually gaining like popularity, where people started making accounts of, you know, getting in touch with this ZoZo demon and all that stuff. Now, where it comes from, as we have dove into this subject, is it started around the time where a band called Led Zeppelin, in that album, there is something that represents ZoZo. Each of their band members have a kind of type of sigil or a symbol that is connected to each of the band members. The one that ZoZo is connected to is one of the band members named Jimmy Page. So, let me just paint a little picture for you guys really quick. The members of Led Zeppelin were known to be into the occult and esoteric knowledge. And they chose specific symbols for their own reasons. Jimmy Page wanted something that would represent Saturn. There was a connection with Saturn with him for some reason, and he wanted some sort of symbol, some sort of sigil that could represent him, and they could, again, put it as a part of this album. I feel like when people saw this ZoZo thing and maybe somehow crossing it with the occult and with esoterics, that somewhere along the way, they wanted to create some sort of negative image, with it. And from then on, when you look at the symbol ZoZo, it does not actually mean to say ZoZo. It is actually just quite literally just symbols. But it can look like it's meant to say the word ZoZo, but it's really not actually a word. They are just symbols. It is just a sigil to represent Saturn. So that is one aspect of ZoZo probably being misrepresented, and people again taking it and running with it. Now, the other mix-up that comes to be, so if we take a look at the movie, The Exorcist, the original one that came out in 1973, the demon that had said to possess, I think her name was Regan, in the movie, the main actress, in the movie, it is said that the demon, or a demon known as Pazuzu, was the demon that had taken over her. This demon has also made an appearance in other popular TV shows such as Supernatural. Now, who is Pazuzu? Pazuzu was known to be the king of all wind demons. He is of Mesopotamian religion. Interestingly enough, Pazuzu was also known to be called upon to help people or to help humans to help ward off other negative demons. So, in essence, we believe, and some other people believe, that there could possibly be a mix-up. One, maybe more so because of the name. If you look at Pazuzu and then obviously you take ZoZo, they can sound a little similar. But not only that, they are both also known to be demons. And somewhere along the way, again, we feel like some people out there might have taken that kind of ideology, ran with it, connected it, then, comes into play, Led Zeppelin stuff and the occults. And some people believe that messing with the occult stuff, some people believe that messing with esoteric stuff could be things of like the devil or could be demonic in nature. And I feel like a lot of that comes possibly from a very religious point of view. So it could come from people who are religious in nature and saw something like that and said, hey, this is demonic, this is not of God or whatever, and then try to turn it into something negative.
We believe now that also ZoZo has now become an egregore. An egregore is basically a entity or a life form that is being created by a collective consciousness that is now thinking and believing of the same thing. And because ZoZo has been so popular in modern cultures, that this made up entity or made up demon ZoZo is now created as an egregore. So now we want to talk about the real dangers of using a Ouija board and what comes with it. So because people go to it blindly and go to it without being spiritually aware of what happens when you touch a Ouija board and use it. So what really happens is that because you have to touch the Ouija board for it to work, you're using it as a medium, and because you're calling upon, if you have something, people who know how to use it use something specific, but because you're just calling upon anything, anything could come through. Parasites, demons, whatever, negative entities, ghosts, spirits. You're using your body, your spiritual body, as something for them to grab a hold of and come through. So without being spiritually protected, that causes you to be vulnerable. That causes you to have a parasite be attached to you. And the dangers of that is that it'll cause your life to be in chaos. Not only that, you're bringing something from the other side to this world. It could leave you and then go to your family members or anyone that you cross paths with. So it's just bringing upon something negative into this world.
And you may not even mean to. And that is the real danger of, I think, messing with the Ouija boards, because not only are you energetically exchanging energy with an opened portal, and so obviously you're welcoming these things, anything to come through, but if you bring something with you, such as a parasite, and it attaches itself to you, creates havoc, creates chaos in your life, then sees another opportunity in someone else who, let's say, is in a very negative, low vibrational state, they can now leech off of that person and now cause chaos and havoc in that person's life, and it could go so on and so forth. This is something that can really endanger someone's life and can endanger your own life. It's not to say that maybe you're not allowed to touch a Ouija board. I think that a Ouija board should be left to the professionals, the people who know 100% without a doubt what they're doing. And I will tell you that is far few in between people. To be honest, it's kind of like no wonder why the world is kind of up in flames with people just messing with these things and letting in all kinds of chaotic stuff come through and creating a mess of a world that we live in right now. So I think that that's why it's important for us to do a very diligent job when it comes to bringing in a lot of love, a lot of light, a lot of positivity into the world, because right now we're definitely in a battle between good and evil. And you know, I'm not going to say that evil is winning, but there's more of a balance of evil and darkness in the world right now than there is good. And I feel like that's why we definitely need to play a part in doing whatever we can to continuously raise the vibration of the world. You know, my mama used to tell me not to mess with a Ouija board, and I 100% take it to heart. I've lived with that piece of advice my whole entire life. I have not touched a Ouija board. I have not messed with a Ouija board. With that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. We tried to make it as short, sweet, and simple as much as possible. We hope that things in this video made sense, and we hope that it flowed enough correctly for you guys to understand. But if for any reason you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to let us know down in the comments below. Or, of course, you could always get a hold of us on our social medias. You can get a hold of Jessy. If you would like to contact him, you can. Or if you want to contact me, you totally can. Follow us on social media. Follow us on here on YouTube. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel if you do enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more of this content. If you guys have any other topics that you would like for us to research or get into, we totally can do that. We have a lot of stuff planned ahead. We have a lot of things that we want to show here on our channel, future investigations and paranormal stuff. We do paranormal videos, but we also like to dive into everything paranormal, put in our 2 cents of what we think, etc., etc. So if you guys want to watch more of that stuff, don't forget to just subscribe to this channel and keep an eye out for our future videos here. So we'll see you guys in our next video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.